Welcome to Season 2 of the Craft Beer Connoisseurs Podcast. I'm Tyler. If you're new to the podcast, we're three friends and a producer who like to showcase craft breweries and their beers. Also, we like to end every episode with a short conversation on a variety of different topics. If you're not new to the podcast, well, welcome back. We will keep things similar to Season 1. After all, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. Whether you're new or returning, please feel free to listen to all of our Season 1 content. And remember, to follow us on Instagram at Craft Beer Cons, send a friend request on Untapped, or subscribe on YouTube at Craft Beer Connoisseurs. Also drop a comment, like, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Now for today's episode. Welcome to Craft Beer Connoisseurs. I'm Tyler.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Brett. And along with us today is producer Alan.
Hello, Alan.
Alan.
All right, so in today's episode, we're going to be reviewing Great Lakes Brewery out of Etobicoke.
Yes, and we're going to be having two beers today, as always. The first one is going to be the Canuck Pale Ale, which is an APA, and the second one is Hanlan's Point, which is a coconut coffee porter.
And then, to finish up the episode, we're going to talk about our birthday memories and stories.
All right, and we are back. So Great Lakes Brewery is located at 30 Queen Elizabeth Boulevard in Etobicoke, as previously mentioned. Now, it was originally incorporated in Brampton, so, I mean, not too far away.
Nope.
Yep.
But far enough. In 1987, so it's a little bit older than maybe some of us.
Yeah.
Probably all of us.
Pretty
actually.
old craft brewery.
And we'll tie that in at the end of the episode for sure. But there were actually 5 co-founders, so we know how difficult some things might be just to get the three of us and a producer in a room to make things work. But they had 5 co-founders who named it Great Lakes because, you know, their dream was actually to have 5 different breweries on each of the 5 Great Lakes. So that is that would have been a feat.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been. But
Right.
there's 5 of them, 5 Great Lakes, so it makes sense still.
So split them up, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Didn't have to,
Conquer
There you
and
go.
divide.
Exactly.
yeah, I don't really know how much Zoom.
Divide and conquer, I should say.
Yeah. How much Zoom they would have back in 1987 to make that kind of work. They'd be calling the landlines just to have conversations.
And
right?
one would have to be in the U.S. because Lake Michigan is only in the U.S.
Yeah.
Communicate via Morse code.
We don't know what the business plan was. But anyways, the brewery was then purchased by the Balut family. Is that where? I
believe so, yes.
Yeah, we'll go with Balut family in 1991. So merely just 4 years later. And it moved it to its current location in 1992 so they could expand, but also switch to all grain brewing.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the Great Lakes Brewery is now owned by Chief Brewing Officer Peter Jr. and head brewer Mike Lackey, and they've known each other since high school. But when the Balut family purchased it in 91, Mike immediately gave them a call asking for some work. There's actually an article on their website about their friendship, and they're ironically wearing the same identical T-shirts that they're wearing in 91.
Yes, as they were wearing in 2021 when the article was produced.
Right.
On the website. Quite interesting. So Great Lakes did not actually open a retail store until 2000. They were kind of just selling kegs to restaurants. But now it's a community hub in Etobicoke. And in 2006, they introduced the Project X beers when they purchased a small pilot brew system. And out of this came the Devil's Pale Ale 666.
Ooh,
yes.
Yeah.
Which was kind of known to be one of the beers to help start the hop craze that we know today in Ontario.
Wow.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, so let's kind of maybe go back to the name of the episode today is Back-to-Back Champs, right? So the reason why we called the episode that was Great Lakes was named the Canadian, not Ontario, Canadian Brewery of the Year in both 2013 and 2014. Now, that is a feat, again, that has not happened since then. So they're the last back-to-back champs.
I think a round of applause for that.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And in 2014, they swept the American IPA category in regards to Thrust, Karma Citra, and My Bitter Wife. Maybe
Wow.
I should have got you to say that, Brett.
No.
So gold, silver, and bronze in the IPA.
They did it all.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And they do make a lot of IPAs, so
Yes,
that
they do.
makes a lot of sense.
So Great Lakes also has and states that they have 99.99% of their beer that stays in Ontario. So does anyone know where that other 0.01% goes?
Maybe in Michigan.
Could be.
Down the drain. I don't know.
funny. Just I'm saying.
Okay.
Does anyone you know?
Just a fun fact.
So you don't know. You're just
I was actually
rhetorically
asking you guys in terms of if you guys knew.
No, I don't know.
Maybe the staff are just kind of taking some and sending it off to other provinces or something like that.
So to commemorate their 30th anniversary in 2017, an actual documentary was released that gives you a true look at all the history, starting with not only Great Lakes itself, but also how the craft brewery scene has changed over the course of time and how they evolved with it. Pardon me. So I wonder what plans they're going to have in place for their 35th anniversary that's coming up in a little bit. Probably a few releases.
Yeah,
I would think
so. Yeah,
right? And also one of those could be kind of the planned opening of the GLB Brew Pub in the East Bayfront in Toronto. So it's planned to be open in the fall of 2021. You know, restrictions, delays, fun stuff. It's hopefully going to be opening later on this year. You know, they're going to have a couple patios, 120 seats, 6,000 square feet inside. Hopefully, more information will be dropped on that very shortly.
So, do you think that Michael Moore took on that documentary? Was that one of his?
Don't think so.
I don't recall that one.
Well, I mean, if you have time, seek it out.
Yeah,
it's a 52-minute documentary. It's actually quite interesting.
So we can toss up the link to the video on our Instagram.
Absolutely.
So people can check it out. So do we know the exact date of their 35th anniversary?
We do get to it a little bit later on in today's episode, I believe.
Okay.
So
you have to stay tuned now.
Wow.
Exactly. There you go.
We'll also take the link and we'll put it in the episode description for this episode.
There you go.
To look at their 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
Now we have their 35th.
Yeah, maybe they'll make another documentary. Who knows?
Ooh, I would hate to do that every 5 years.
It's not, you're setting a precedent where you're going to have to do it every 5 years, right?
Stick to just do new beer releases.
Yeah, that's a good point. So Great Lakes utilizes Untapped to its fullest, which we've seen from a few other breweries, which, as we know, is a great tool. So basically, they notify you exactly what's in the fridge of the brewery. So they've got that menu option. They give you a really full description of every beer, not just the core beers. And there's also a Great Lakes exclusive badge. So I don't know how you earn that, but maybe we'll
check
earn
it in
that
at the
today.
brewery.
Oh, at the brewery.
Yeah. So hopefully,
Shucks.
I guess by the time this episode is released, restrictions will kind of be back a little bit in place.
Yeah.
So, go to the brewery,
Earn the badge.
check it in, earn the badge, right?
Yeah.
So speaking of Untapped, Great Lakes, now look at this. This is a big number. 824 different beers have been curated.
Wow.
Now let's keep in mind how long they've been around.
Correct.
So
Correct.
Untapped came around in 2011, I think. Correct. So, and they've been around before then. So they were kind of right at the forefront.
And everything, for sure.
So they have a lot of creativity, the names, and the cans, if you will, if you look at their labels.
Yeah.
So kind of making everything stand out. So especially when you go to the LCBO, grocery store, you're going to see a lot of Great Lakes products usually there.
Yep.
Something you might see, Pompous Ass.
Mm-hmm. That's the English ale, I think.
Correct, yeah. Octopus Wants to Fight, which is an IPA. Karma Citra, Robo Hop, which I think is a funny name, and the old Audrey Hopburn.
There you go.
Right? And the list goes on. And again, if you want to look at their full list of beers that they have.
So one thing I do want to mention, you kind of talked about the can fine and the fridge and all that stuff with Untapped, is on their website. You see that same artwork throughout. So when you go in there to purchase any beers from their actual website, they have some really kind of cool artwork, some fun artwork on there as well, just to kind of navigate throughout. So it all ties together. They've done a really good job with that.
Well, I don't know who they have doing their artwork, but they must keep them pretty busy with 824 beers.
It might be in the documentary.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Oh. Teaser.
So speaking of us on Untapped with Great Lakes, I've had 16 different ones. The highest rated, or two highest rated ones would be as far back as I can remember. So it's a New England IPA. It was 4.75. And the Lacus Mortis, which was a collab with Third Moon, that came out at the end of 2021. And I rated that at 4.5. Producer Alan, his highest rated one was Thrust at 4.5. And I believe he had 7. Might have checked one more in last night to make 8. Never mind. I stand corrected.
No, we included that in the 7.
There you go. Look at
that. Tyler, what about you?
Yeah. So this one, I've had one apparently.
I was actually shocked by that.
It is Incorrect.
Is it?
I've had one which is in the Untapped app. So I did have several before I actually got on Untapped.
Right.
And
Fair.
I do draw to a memory here that Brett should actually know quite well, because when he asked me to be part of his wedding, he actually gave me a Great Lakes beer, which was the Pompous Ass, which was actually, I think, a shot at me. But I don't know if you remember that.
I actually do remember that.
There you go.
Yeah.
So as you can see here, I do have the one which was the hazy, or sort of the haze mamo, which obviously doesn't account for the Pompous Ass that I did have that Brett gave me because it was before Untapped,
Right.
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Fair enough. So I've had 6 from Great Lakes, and my highest actually had it yesterday doing some market research. The Robo Hop, which was a 4.25 for me.
You know, it's always good to tap into market research the day before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
Makes
just got to be prepared.
Did that influence the rating at all? Saying, hey, I've got this coming up. Maybe I should sauce her a 4.25?
I should crack her open.
No,
and
it
sauce her
didn't.
good.
Because I've had some other like 4s from them, so I didn't just give them a high rating.
Gotcha. So as mentioned before, a lot of the Great Lakes beers and most of their staples can be found at pretty much every single LCBO.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever went into an LCBO and not seen a Great Lakes product there.
On several
And
shelves.
A bunch of them,
Yes,
too.
there's
right?
a lot of
Yeah.
SKUs.
A lot of SKUs, that's
Yeah.
for sure. So they do also have some limited releases that, do hit some bottle shops as well. So don't forget to support your local bottle shops. In terms of fresh GLB, because they always have that little hashtag on their Instagram post, it has free next day delivery on orders of $50 or more within the GTA. And if you're visiting the brewery itself in the tap room, they during restrictions are open 11 to 6 every day. That may change with things kind of opening back up.
Yeah, stay tuned to their Instagram, which we're going to link to on our Instagram, so you can find out what their new hours are once they do open.
All right, let's hop on to the first beer, boys.
All right, we are back with our first beer, so thank you to Troy from Great Lakes for providing the beers on today's episode.
Thanks, Troy.
Thank you very much. So the first beer we're having, as we mentioned, is called Canuck, which is a American Pale Ale, and it has a 5.5 ABV and 25 IBUs.
Okay, so this is going to be a bit of a paragraph for me to read, so pay attention. The minute you crack your can, an aroma of grapefruit, mango, and pine are going to hit you in the face like a beaver slapping his tail on a pristine small body of water in Ontario.
So that might hurt.
Canuck pours a deep gold, bordering on burnt orange, that produces a tight, snowy white toque. Take one last nose before getting into the liquid, which you'll soon find will be hard to put down. See, I told you, paragraph reading, not my strong point. Soft carbonation leads to a sweet, honeyish start before it gives way to a more grapefruit, tropical citrus, canned peaches, and pine. Yeah, all right?
Yeah.
Light to medium body with a very dry finish. Drink at your local pub. Drink at pub, whatever. Pub. We'll both pub.
All right.
In the fish hut, campground, the beach, in a canoe, responsibly. Playing shinny on a log, or actually anywhere north of the 49th.
Yeah, playing shinny on a log. Now, don't play shinny on a log.
No.
Yeah, that's a small surface area.
Yes.
Well, good job, Brett.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's...
I'm keeping up with producer Peyton from a long time ago in terms of reading.
Yeah.
So there you go.
That's good. One paragraph at a time.
Yes.
So this beer debuted actually in time for the 2010 Winter Olympics. So it's available to all around, for all Ontario athletes at the Pavilion.
Wow, that's awesome.
In Vancouver. So, yeah.
That is correct.
That
It was
is
available to all Ontario athletes at the Ontario Athlete Pavilion in Vancouver.
Yeah, it's incredible, as we said. So just like Canada did, this beer here has won gold. So this won gold at the Canadian Brewery Awards, just obviously not in ski jumping and beer making. It actually became super, super popular, as I'm sure a lot of people have noticed in the LCBOs, this beer. So Great Lakes actually made it a year-round brand in 2011. So now we're going on essentially 11 years of this being around as pretty much a core beer, right?
Absolutely. So on Untapped, you can follow us at Craft Beer Connoisseurs, and on Instagram, follow us at Craft Beer Cons. So the overall rating for Canuck Pale Ale is 3.62 out of 5. So you mentioned how popular this beer is. It's actually the most checked-in beer on Untapped for Great Lakes, with
Nice.
about 18,700 check-ins.
Wow.
So yeah, quite a few. The can specifically, because we are drinking it out of the can, has just over 10,000 check-ins and actually has a rating of 3.91. So all the other taster styles are bringing it down.
Yeah. I thought that was an interesting kind of note. Like the can, 3.91, and everything else is kind of further down, right?
So draft is 3.69, and then taster and bottle are both 3.55.
Yeah.
So
all right.
Yeah.
Good to know. So let's grab your glass and grab your can. If you look at the can, guys, at the bottom there, I just want to make sure everybody got the right can because mine says this one was brewed for me. So it says brewed for you. Did you guys say brewed for you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure we all got
I was reading, what have we done?
Yeah.
Sorry. I was like, that's not right.
want to make sure we all got the right one. Mine says it was brewed for me. So that's how I know it's mine.
Lucky you.
Glass in one hand, can in the other hand, and let's open her up.
And Chris, what glassware are we using?
Well, we are drinking this out of a pint glass, so make sure to use your proper glassware. And I will note on the can, they actually have, I love when breweries do this. They have the picture of the glass that you're supposed to drink it out of. And they recommend drinking it out of what's called a Great Lakes Brewery Crown Viking. So it's basically the same glass we're drinking out of, but obviously they want you to drink their branded glass, which we don't have.
So instead, what we did is we are drinking it out of our branded glass. So that's what we're doing. So basically, let's take a look at this beer. First thing we notice is that white fluffy toque.
Yeah, that's a big toque there.
Right?
Say that more Canuck, would you? Yeah, there, right there's a
I see what you did there. Drinking more Canuck.
What do you think about that big toque there?
Oh, she's going to keep that beer nice and fresh, isn't she, though?
Oh, all of our American listeners are going to love that.
Oh, yeah.
Heck yeah, bud. Heck yeah.
So what else do you guys see aesthetically on this?
It's a very, I think it mentioned like golden kind of color. It's a very nice kind of like golden peachy almost color.
Was it burnt orange?
Burnt orange. That's it. Yeah. I have a bad short-term memory. So I'm
Tyler. That's Brett, and you're Chris.
And we are the craft beer connoisseurs.
I'm Chris. Okay. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing. What about you guys?
Yeah, kind of same thing. Probably about in the, let's say, 2 finger lengths of a head.
The way you measured that, you put your fingers vertically and said 2 finger lengths.
Yeah, that's what it is, right?
That's funny.
It's a Sunday. What can you say?
Yeah.
Anyway, so it is a little cloudy throughout.
A little bit of haziness,
which is what I prefer.
Yeah. I think for what I'm seeing on it with respect to the color is it's more orange than I would say for more pale ales. I see pale ales are kind of like more of a light kind of orange color instead of this darker.
Yeah, like almost like a yellowy.
Yeah,
exactly.
Usually, right? Exactly. Yeah. So
and on the scent,
yeah, what do you got?
Smell, I'm getting a lot of pine, if you will.
Yeah, I'm getting the peaches.
Yeah,
peaches and pine.
Yeah,
peaches and pine. There you go.
I'm okay with that combination.
Yeah, absolutely. So should we maybe perhaps drink it? Now remember to take that last sniff before you take the first drink.
Right. The first swallow.
Yes, on the nose to the swallow. What do you got?
Yep, that is a gold medal winning beer, I'd say. On one sip, he's called it, folks. And that's the no I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's definitely a good beer. So yeah, I'm getting that pine and bitterness, and that they mentioned grapefruity. I'm getting that grapefruit as well.
Yes. Lots of grapefruit coming through, and the bitter on the back end, which comes from when you put grapefruit in beer a lot of times, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was mango mentioned as well, was there not?
Yes. I don't think, is that dominating for you or no?
No, it's not.
No.
But again, kind of on the back end of the sip itself is because the grapefruit comes in as like kind of I don't know, more of like a heavy middle, and then it kind of subdues a little bit more. And I feel maybe that could either just be the lingering taste of the grapefruit, or maybe the mellowness of like a mango kind of.
Yeah,
finish
it did say canned peaches too, so maybe that's kind of what's coming in at the
could
end.
Be a
to
little
mellow it
syrupy,
out. Yeah,
definitely citrusy though.
Oh yeah,
definitely that, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're getting for sure.
It is a nice beer. And when I took my sip there, I tried to make sure I got a decent amount of the head on it.
That touque, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
just to kind of change, I guess, the mouthfeel of it as well. And you're going to get a different flavor, obviously, profile when you get more of that head in there, because it's yes, it is coming from the beer itself, but it's its own kind of flavor, right?
It is a little bit more, and just a little bit more bitter than I was kind of expecting from it.
Okay.
But so, Brett, I don't think we've really talked about cans too much lately. Did you want to talk about this?
Especially in season 2, haven't you?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I need a producer special to remind me. Anyway, in terms of the can, you'll see their fictional character, Mr. Gordy Levesque, on the can in a nice lumberjack outfit, standing on top of a log, not playing shinny, but with an axe in his hand. Very Canuckish, if you will, of him.
Yes.
Wearing the plaid shirt, having his toque, not white, red.
It does play into the stereotype that you would see of a general kind of Canuck figure.
Absolutely, it does, yeah.
And not Vancouver Canuck.
No.
No, this is a good Canuck. So why don't we touch on the top 5 flavor profiles? So the first one is hoppy. What do we think about hoppy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's very, very well hopped. And obviously, they've made this beer a few times. So they've kind of got it down, I think, to a T, if you will. I think, hoppy, definitely number 1 for me. Tyler?
Yeah, I think hoppy's up there. Might not be the number 1, but I can see it.
Yeah. What about light, which is the second one? To me, I mean, it is light, but I wouldn't really put it, not up at number 2 for sure.
Yeah. I don't even think for me that would make my top 5.
Yeah.
I agree.
I could see how some people think it's light, but just not for me personally.
Sure.
Number 3 is smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a smooth beer for sure.
I think it's smooth. At this point, I'm a little bit surprised that we haven't mentioned any of the fruits specifically, especially from an untapped community that likes to just kind of throw in whatever the fruit profile is that's listed to throw one of those fruits in. So I'm surprised we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, and at this point with 18,000 check-ins, like it's hard to probably change that order of the top 5.
Somebody's going to have to check it in a whole heck of a lot of times.
Yeah.
With that beer.
But that's, again, to that point, though, that means with that many check-ins that the top 5 curated have come from a vast pool of people to become the top 5. So that means either there's been a whole lot of consistency in just people rating it and reviewing it with light or smooth in that order, right?
Yeah. So, the fourth one is citrusy, so a little bit more closer to the fruit. So for me, this is, and Alan is saying as well, probably the number 1.
Yeah. Okay. And that's why I was kind of surprised I didn't see in the top 3.
Yeah. And then number 5 is fruity. But I think, so Alan is suggesting that we kind of narrow this down a bit more. So I would say a grapefruit, a peach, something like that, rather than just
I'd say
fruity.
grapefruit more than peach, personally.
Yeah, I would agree, because you get that grapefruit right off the hop.
Absolutely. Okay, so I see what you did there.
Do you get it off the hop?
Not the robo-hop.
No.
I see what you did there. Anyway, so some Untapped users' thoughts on this. Chris, I believe you have the first one, so read it.
I do, and the first one is from Charlie R. Handle is Rolaunch. We'll go with on January 7th said refreshing grapefruit, peach, pineapple, which I'm not getting, and pine, ever changing yet ever reliable. And Charlie gave it a 3.75 out of 5.
Yes, I think for those, this is one of those beers, reliable is what we kind of said in our previous one. This is one of those beers that definitely is that. Tyler, I'm really interested in terms of you reading this second rating.
Sure, just to kind of go back to Charlie's rating, I agree with the pineapple comment that you made, Chris, too. I don't taste that either. Yeah. The next one is from Beers G. So Beers Guide. Okay, so that's the handle. On December 31st, stated the following. My wife asked me to watch the New Year's Eve roast in the oven and turn it off when the timer said it was done. I had 700 of these, probably an over-exaggeration. And when it was time to turn the oven off, I took my shirt off and stood in front of it. Seemed to work on the wife, not so much the oven.
Oh,
that's an interesting review from the handle Beers Guide. Beers Guide, look that up. There might be some other interesting ones.
I think there is.
That are in there as well. And they also gave it a 3.75 out of 5, much like Charlie did the previous one.
Yep.
All right.
Well, what do you want to give it, Tyler?
Well, I'm glad that you asked. I'm pretty well half done this now, and I'm enjoying it immensely. I'm going to give it a 4.25. 4.25.
Nice. Yeah, I'm enjoying it as well. I haven't. This is one of the Great Lakes beers that I have not had before. I'm going to give it a 4.0.
Okay. I've had this before. I had it out of 4. I'm going to stick with that. And it looks like producer Alan, kind of going on a little spiel here. He had it very early in his Untapped career. He rated it 3.5, but only had it out of the can. Now that he's had it out of the glass, he's raising that rating to a 3.75.
Wow.
All right.
Glassware makes a difference.
It does.
There it is. So our overall score is going to be a 4.0. And I think that is an interesting point that you say, Chris, about glassware making a difference.
Yeah.
Because the beer itself did come from a can in both instances.
Yes.
But you're probably going to get more of that teener taste when you have your lips to the can itself instead of to the glass. So
I think so.
Absolutely.
Definitely. All right. Well, we're going to grab our axe and move on to beer number 2. All right. We're back, eh?
Yeah, bud.
So the second beer we're having today is Hanlan's Point. It's a coconut coffee porter. Comes in at 6.5% ABV with 19 IBUs.
Tyler?
Nice. Yeah, no, I'm just looking up some information here because I wanted to know what Hanlan's Point was. And there is a Hanlan's Point beach.
Oh, there you go.
Interesting. Okay.
And is that in Toronto?
It is actually. Yeah.
Does make sense by the label.
There you go. Center Island. I'm just curious if that was it. So I just wanted to make sure I get a little bit of research.
Probably
in there.
is.
Okay.
So this one here is a little bit of a paragraph as well. I'll try my best. I don't want to, outdo Brett. But,
But you will.
But it's explained as it pours a brilliant midnight black with a luscious cream topping. So a different kind of look than the toque itself.
Right.
Aromas of perfectly toasted coconut, dark chocolate, freshly ground espresso, graham cracker, and a touch of vanilla, abound from the glass. So
Nice.
that is a lot in
That
terms
is a
of
lot,
a profile that we're going to be looking for, especially on the nose as well as on the taste itself. So each sip provides a silky mouthfeel featuring craft coffee, slightly smoky roasted malt, baker's chocolate, so that's good to know, and soft coconut, complemented by a touch of white marshmallow up front.
Oh.
A wonderfully complex offering, perfect for fireside chats. So we enjoy all the fireside chats. There is a lot to take in.
Yes.
This is
Indeed.
a lot going on in this beer, so it'll be interesting if we can kind of pick out.
But if it hits that's
It's going to be delicious.
it's gonna be a banger.
Oh yeah.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling a little hungry here. So I feel as though this beer might pair well with like a beaver tail, maybe a
Yes.
coconut cream pie, or maybe like a nice mixer of Tim Hortons finest Timbits.
Like Tim Biebs?
No. Because none of those were good.
Oh, wow.
Oh, hot take.
Hot take of a
Just
cold
done
beer.
this right now.
All
I
right,
appreciate
so
them.
on Untapped for this beer, there are about 3,200 check-ins with an average rating of 3.82 bottle caps out of 5. So we're drinking this one out of the can as well. So on the can for this one, there's 1,378 check-ins with a 3.76 rating, so a little bit lower than average. And then the next highest one, which you probably would figure is Draft with 113 with a 3.89.
Nice. A little bump up.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't want to steal the can art from you, Brett, but I'm going to anyways. Talking about when I mentioned about Hanlan's Point, there's this actually from a perspective point of view seems almost fairly accurate to what I was looking at the Google map of where Hanlan's Point is in a perspective of the CN Tower.
Yes, because if he's on Center Island looking across Lake Ontario,
That
he'd
is
be
exactly
looking
what
at
Now,
the
just so you
skyline
know,
of Toronto.
first beer, Gordy Levesque, tarps on. This beer, Gordy Levesque, tarps off.
Yeah.
There you go.
Speedo.
Good thing his legs are crossed because I'm not sure there's even a Speedo there.
Just looking at
Well,
it.
hopefully when Tyler says, let's open her up, it's not the legs, it's the beer itself.
And as we know, I mean, at least he's got thongs on. It might just be his feet.
Just the sandals. You're right.
All right, let's grab the can here. Let's grab the glass and let's open her up.
What a sound.
Chris, what glassware are we drinking out of?
Well, we're drinking this porter out of a Nonic pint. So make sure to use your proper glassware.
Yeah, and so a hot take here, actually coming in from producer Alan, is the can art on this is slightly different than what's been on previous editions of this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so if you guys just check your phone there, you'll see in the...
I did get it airdropped to me.
the chat there, that there's actually an image of this, and the border is a little bit more of a teal color, and this is a bit of a blue. The more vibrant colors, I think, with this edition than previous editions.
I believe it was because it was a collaboration with Bar Hop.
That could be it as well. Yeah. And this one here, you can see that there is no snowflakes, whereas the other one there was. So
he's a little more cold than the other one.
There you go.
This one, he's kind of chill.
I'm going to pour my beer. You guys talk about what you see.
Oh, you haven't even poured it yet. All right. Well, I will say, as soon as I poured it, that coffee really hit the nose. I wasn't even that close to the glass, and it was right up in my nostrils.
Right up there. What was it? The lining of the cream, if you will. Is that what it was?
I'm sorry?
Tyler said something about cream.
Back
when he was going through the whole paragraph of what the beer is described as.
Yeah.
I think it was like the cream topping. That's what it was. Not lining, topping.
The head.
Yes, the head.
Topping, yes.
Correct.
Yeah, not the toque, the cream topping.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
they're very clever with their
descriptions.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, a lining and the topper's a little bit different. Yeah. But I mean, obviously, aesthetically looking at it, you're having the very dark color. You're not gonna you can't describe a stout reporter any different. I don't think. Unless it's a white stout, but that's entirely different.
This is not white.
But same as that.
Yeah.
You got more can information to come through here?
Yeah, so
producer Alan is fixated on this can.
Oh, Alan loves this can.
Loves it.
I think he just likes Gordy tarps off.
That could be it.
I was going to say that, but all right, yeah. So they actually also recommend. So we mentioned earlier about the glassware on the Canuck beer. They actually recommend the same glassware for this beer, which we're not having the same glassware. But they also recommend the serving temperature, 4 to 6 degrees. So I think we are drinking about that.
Yeah, roughly.
I mean, you don't have the thermometer in there to check it out, or what?
Yeah, let's
if
get our
somebody wants us to
send
send a beer thermometer away, we can slide in our DMs and let us know. We'll
gladly accept that.
We'll give you some mailing information. And we'll give you a shout out.
Absolutely.
Well, I think we should probably taste this beer.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and do that.
Yes.
Doesn't that sound like fun?
There's a lot of complex flavor profiles to it, so I'm hoping everything kind of hits.
Okay. Well, I took my first sip, so I'll go first.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely hard on the coffee. Less coconut than what I was thinking. What's going to be? Chris?
Yeah, there is less coconut. It definitely a ton of coffee, but this is nice, and there is a lot going on in this beer.
Absolutely.
Like it's kind of like that first when you take a sip, there's a bunch of things going on, and then on the back end, there's a few things going on.
What about the middle end? Is there a few things going on there too, or no?
Oh yeah, just right through.
Does the middle have an end?
It ends when the end starts.
There you go. Interesting. Do you want my perspective on it?
Please go ahead.
Thanks, guys. So very coffee forward. I think as this warms up even just a little bit more, we're going to see a bit more in the flavor change a bit. I do think that I'm not getting kind of like that marshmallow kind of graham cracker kind of coming through. I'm getting more of the coffee and probably some of that baker's chocolate coming through a little bit more so.
So you mentioned the marshmallow, and I kind of forgot about that. So I'm getting quite a bit of sweetness from it, and so it might be that chocolate, but it also might be from that marshmallow that they talked about. But yeah, that's it. This is a really good beer, actually.
I'm thinking, like, in my personal perspective, obviously, I mean, people who made the beer are probably way better at things than I am. But the serving temperature of 4 to 6 degrees, I almost feel like it's a little bit off. I almost feel like it should be more of like a 9, 10 degrees.
A little warmer.
Right?
Now, my understanding of baker's chocolate, being the guy that I am in the kitchen all the time baking,
yes, exactly.
Is the baker's chocolate would lend to more of like a bitter,
right. It's not really sweet.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that kind of almost runs counter to what you were saying too, with maybe some of that sweetness. You might be getting more from the marshmallow.
So it must be the marshmallow.
Instead of the baker's chocolate, because from this, I'm not getting, it's more unsweetened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So clear my throat. Sorry. It's thick in my mouth on the swallow. I don't know about
like a burnt marshmallow vibe.
Yeah, and I think
where
that's
I'm
probably
going
coming
there?
from, that's a mix of the marshmallow and the malts, probably.
Yes,
right?
or the baker's
Yeah.
chocolate.
Yeah. So Alan is saying, it's been cold here lately in Ontario.
Oh,
pretty
heck
cold.
yeah, bud.
Oh, yeah. So he said that this beer would be ideal on a heated patio. Definitely agree with that. Or kind of around a fire at the brewery.
I don't know if Alan was paying much attention when we were talking about the description of the beer because that's exactly how it was described.
Well, it said around a fireside chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just understand. But let's get the top 5 flavor profiles. El numero uno. We have coffee.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say so. It might. See, this is kind of funny. It might not be the most dominating flavor to me, but it's the first flavor that I taste. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
100% makes sense.
Yeah.
I get that.
Number 2, smooth.
Definitely a smooth beer.
Yeah, it is.
100%, yeah.
I just took a huge gulp.
You love your huge gulps.
I know. And I recommend everybody do the exact same because it was marshmallow chocolate.
Fine.
Just
Okay.
take a large,
me a second, I'll do that.
large gulp of that. And I got more chocolate marshmallow.
And if we're not getting a lot of graham cracker, at least I'm not personally.
Yeah.
But if we were, that would be like a s'more.
It would
that would
be
be perfect for the
s'more
fire.
light.
Like Alan's saying.
s'more
Tyler,
light.
you're not wrong.
Thank you. You struggle to get that out.
It's one of those things. I was like, I like
It's
to
hard to
correct, I like to
admit that
correct you a
you're
lot,
right.
but like, you weren't wrong on this
Right?
one.
Like, and I think that's the thing about taking different sips with beers. Take a small sip, take a large sip, and you get that, right? There you go. So the next one was smooth.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, we did that one. Yeah.
But you guys were all good
Yeah.
with that?
Yes, yeah.
I feel like it could have been more smooth. I was looking for more of like I don't want to say like frothiness, but like more of a creamier aspect to it. Producer Alan just absolutely devastated our talking points here. So let me just get back up here.
It's what he does. He's too busy looking at the can.
Number 3, coconut.
See, no, I'm not really getting coconut.
Producer Alan's getting it on the back end.
Yeah, I got on the back end as well. That's just me.
Yeah, good for you. Number 4, sweet.
Yeah, to me,
Yes.
sweet would be probably number 2.
I'm struggling with the sweet, not sweet kind of aspect of it because I am getting the chocolate, but I'm not getting the sweetness.
It's in the middle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Number 5, subtle.
I don't know what that
No, because I don't think any of these flavors are subtle.
means. It hits you hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it depends on the sip again, what you take, right? Because I didn't get as much of that marshmallow feel until I took a bigger gulp, and then I got that subtleness
Yeah.
of the marshmallow kind
But
of.
like even the
I
coffee,
agree.
for example, is not subtle.
Oh heck no!
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
All right, let's go over to our fine friends at Untapped here. Brett, you got the first one.
Yes, I do. This one comes from Kevin K, and his handle is Crewminator. On January 16th, decent. I'm not a big fan of coconut flavoring generally, which I agree with because I'm not a huge fan of it either. The coffee is nicely integrated, although there's a generic sweetness on the palate that just seems a little bit off. A 3.5 out of 5. And do you think there's anything off on the generic sweetness, as Kevin say?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't agree with that
Yeah.
necessarily.
You know,
but-
generic rating for a generic beer, like 3.5, it's in the middle.
Yeah.
All right. Chris,
To each their own, right?
Exactly.
yeah, the second one, and tell us what Jason teaches his own.
Yeah, Jason J. Admiral Payne is his name. On January 14th said, fresh coffee bean on the nose, creamy, hint of metallic, sweet, thick, but you have to look for the coconut. And Jason gave it a 4.25 out of 5.
So everybody seems to be getting the coconut a little bit more so than us, except
Yeah.
for producer Alan. But the hint of metallic and still come out with a 4.25 is very interesting.
Maybe he was drinking it right from the can.
Also, fun
But
fact,
still,
when I read that the
right?
first time, I thought it was hint of Metallica. And I was like,
That doesn't surprise any of us.
yeah.
that doesn't sound right. This is not Enter Sandman.
But still, to even if you're drinking out of the can, to get that hint of metallic and still come out with a 4.25 is pretty good, right?
Very true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in terms of our ratings, I'll get us started.
do.
I actually really like this beer. I'm going to give it a 4.5.
4.5. So I've had this one before. I rated it a 3.5, but I'm pretty sure I had a beer before that kind of took my taste buds off. Now that I'm having it today again, my rating's going to go a little higher. I'm going to actually give it a 4.
Nice.
Very nice. All right. So here's where I'm coming from. As I started to drink this beer, I was probably at a 3.
Really?
And this is is very interesting to go from where I was to where I'm at now. And I think that's the importance of kind of what we do here on the podcast, and the reason why we say don't judge a beer off the first sip. Because as you drink this beer, you get more of that flavor that comes out. You get the smells, I think, also help with that flavor profile.
Yeah.
I know I'm talking a little bit too much, guys, and I apologize. But
continue.
But I think it is very important to say this, is that let it kind of warm up, especially if it's a stout or a porter in this aspect. I was at a 3, and I'm going to jump myself up to a 4.0. So that is a 1 point jump.
Yeah.
From the very
one
first
bottle cap.
Yeah.
From the very...
And that happened in what, 6 minutes, 7 minutes?
Very first sip to, we'll say about halfway.
Yeah, you're halfway through.
Halfway through with it warming up and getting some of those extra flavors that come through. Now for producer Alan, or Al, he's at a 4.25. Not a coffee fan, but the aftertaste with the creaminess is really good. Again, we'd probably like to see this a little bit more creamy, maybe a little more frothy, at least I would.
Maybe if you threw a little lactose in there, who knows where this could have went, eh?
Oh, I know. It could have been a 5.
I think the sound bites that we could pick out from you saying, yeah, a little lactose.
Put some lactose in it.
Maybe some vanilla.
Yeah, a little too
actually.
Yeah, a little too seasoned.
Actually, yeah.
So that's where we're at with that. Chris, what's that give us?
Yeah, so overall that gives us a rating of 4.1875, which we're going to round up to a 4.25.
Nice.
That concludes the review of Great Lakes and the beers that Troy helped provide for today's episode.
Very nice. Coming up next, we're going to be talking a little bit about our birthday reminiscing. All right, we are back. This is our theme conversation, and as mentioned by Chris earlier on in this conversation, the February 12th, February 12th, Great Lakes Brewery is going to be celebrating their 35th birthday.
Wow. Happy birthday. One day before my birthday.
And you've been around, before all of us.
Yeah, it's true.
Because we're all under the age of 35.
I will not be turning 35 this year.
You will not
No,
be.
you will not.
I was waiting for you guys to break out into song. So as we previously mentioned, that makes the brewery older than all of us, right? So we may not have, as much history individually, but combined, we might have a couple more stories than maybe Great Lakes has. And so that's basically what we're going to be talking about today. Which is kind of interesting here. But so we figured we'd talk about some of our birthday parties growing up, any of our kind of stories, just to kind of celebrate Great Lakes on their 35th, which I believe is coming out in a week, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So maybe what we'll do is we'll do the old traditional round table here. I'll start it off because why not? It's my episode and you guys have to do what I say. So the first thing I want to kind of mention is, did anybody ever have like the McDonald's caboose?
Yes.
For their birthday?
With that orange drink.
Yes, the orange drink.
I don't know what the McDonald's caboose is, but I remember the orange drink.
All right,
Yes.
so some locations for McDonald's actually had like a caboose from a train.
Okay.
On property that they would rent out for birthday parties.
Oh.
So in Stratford, we had one. It was out on Ontario Street.
Yep.
And you'd go there for your birthday party. You'd do pin the tail on the donkey. You'd have the orange drink. You'd have like the generic kind of like a McDonald's cake.
Yeah.
And you'd get a cheeseburger or something, right?
Happy Meal.
Happy Meal, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that was before they got healthy and had apple slices.
Your 6 nuggets, yeah.
Yeah. And so I just didn't know if everybody had. So we had producer Alan said yes as well. So that was one thing I wanted to kind of mention.
So Chris, you have missed out.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it. Well, maybe I'll go next. So honestly, I was never someone that had a lot of birthday parties. Like I think I only had like 2 birthday parties growing up.
Yep.
I remember going to one place called Wally B World. It was like this place where had like, the slides and the jungle gym type thing. Yes. It closed shortly after my birthday because some kid broke his arm there and sued them. But
was that kid you?
That kid was not me.
I could
Was
tell.
the kid at your birthday party?
No, they were not at my birthday
I could
party.
tell by the investment into this podcast.
No. Exactly.
Brett, what'd you got?
So again, yes, caboose. A major thing that I did, I don't know why, it was random. I'd always want to go see a movie on my birthday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So we bring a bunch of friends, we go to Cineplex or Silver City or whatever, and watch whatever hot movie was on at the time.
Hot movie. Oh.
Hey now.
Well, what else do you want to know? What do you want to describe it like? Sorry, new hit that. Like, I don't
There you
know.
go.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I did, except one year my parents went off and took me to a Jays game.
Nice.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, good for them. Yay. Yeah, that's pretty much, it was
Fair
a lot
enough.
of like watching movies.
Sure. So one of the other points was the McCain chocolate cakes. As this was kind of a bit of a staple. Now, producer Alan says that his mother would go out and get like a custom cake done from an individual, actually, whose mom would go ahead and put the photos on. Now, fun fact about that, just to kind of tie this in, that same individual made my computer camp when I went away for a week a cake as well with the photo. And I don't know if you guys had that before where you could actually print the photo on the cake.
I have seen that, yes.
But it was like the very first time that stuff started coming out. So it was the same individual that made birthday cakes and what have you for producer Alan.
For our second year anniversary, we're totally getting a craft beer connoisseur's
Yeah, we
cake
should
with
do
our
that.
photo printed on it, for sure.
Now that you've said it, people are going to hold us to it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to rhyme off just a couple other ones. I used to get the Jays tickets as well from aunts and uncles. And then I kind of was like you a little bit, Chris. Like I had some birthday parties, but I wanted to make sure that as I grew up, I still continue that trend. So my birthday is in November 22nd. Send me a gift. That's okay. 11/22. It's easy to remember.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make sure that, I had fun with everybody. So it's arcades, bubble soccers, bowlings. And then for my 30th, we did a brewery/winery.
Yes, we
Correction.
did.
The girls did the winery. We did the breweries.
Yeah,
I was
that's
just
true.
I was just going to say, in order to make sure all the guys could come to the breweries, I shipped off the women for the winery, which is great. Now, one other thing was the university birthday parties. Chris, you know this quite well. Is
Yes.
we actually did have some banger of parties.
I think one of your birthday parties was when we actually became friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. And
Best
you know what?
birthday gift Sager has ever received.
In second year, there was a birthday party that was put on by my then ex-girlfriend, and it was a huge surprise party, everybody thought, but we had a massive fight before the actual party, and I knew about it because I don't like secrets, so I got it out of her. And she told me, well, we're just trying to go to this surprise birthday party. I said, too bad, so sad, so I ruined my own surprise. But that's what I got. Chris, what do you got?
Honestly, that's it.
All right, Brett, what do you got?
I never really did birthday parties. So, but I went to birthday parties. So one thing I really remember, which Alan's bringing up, is going to Laser Quest, the laser tag.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was awesome.
Did you break your arm?
Did you sue him?
I didn't. We always, as kids, we always loved making up what we thought were really funny names for on your laser quest. Like when you get shot by someone, it's like, oh, I don't know.
You were shot by Pfeiffer.
Yeah. You always thought it was so funny. But yeah, I think nowadays, personally, I just kind of like to spend my birthday kind of relaxing. Super Bowl is on my birthday this year. They pushed it back a week, so now it's on my birthday. So I guess I'm watching the Super Bowl for my birthday.
I don't know if you remember your 30th birthday, but I sure do.
Yes, for my 30th birthday, we actually went to a brewery, went to Anderson, and then another brewery, Toboggan, and had dinner there. Yeah.
And did you do another brew after that or no?
No, that was it.
I
was there. You were there.
Producer Alan is kind of like the same way these days, just kind of hit up a couple breweries. So this past year, they went to Windsor, the Tecumseh area. I don't know. He must have a connection with, I can't remember the producer name. Must have a connection with that guy who brought up the...
That was Santa.
Santa, that's right. Obviously, he has a connection with Santa.
It's that WhatsApp group.
Yes. I got to get in that.
Yeah.
Myself, a lot of my, because obviously I did not have my birthday during school, because mine's the middle of June, I was probably playing baseball at a lot of different ones.
So I will say one thing that I actually tried to do with having a child was have them have a birthday during the school year so that they
You
would
tried
be,
that?
Yeah, like
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
like I don't want them to no offense, Brett. Don't want them to have a July or August birthday where they can't have a
I just
birthday
said mine
party.
was in June. During the public school year, yes, but during college, no.
Okay, fine. Whatever.
Fair enough.
But yes, my 30th birthday is coming up this year. My wife apparently already has plans to do things.
Has anybody got an invite?
Nope.
Now, I assume it's going to be a lot like my bachelor party was going to be before COVID.
Bachelor
party.
I didn't get an invite to that either.
Yeah, check Facebook from 2 years ago.
Fair enough. You know what? It's funny you mentioned about school because my birthday always, it seemed like, fell inevitably in elementary school on report card day. So it was, maybe that's why I didn't get as many birthday parties as I deserved.
Yeah, but you got a bunch of A pluses.
It was the only gift I could get. So, all right, boys, let's wrap this pony up and take her home. What do you guys say?
All right,
Absolutely.
let's do it.
All right, so that's all for today's episode.
Yeah, thank you again for listening. Keep on listening every other Thursday as Craft Beer Connoisseurs releases a new episode, and on our off Thursdays for a producer special.
Make sure to tell your friends, family, and Gordy Levesque, even if he's got tarps on or tarps off.
There you go. So from all of us and producer Alan, I'm Tyler.
I'm Brett.
And I'm Chris, and together we're the Craft Beer Connoisseurs.